Alright, UFC 239 predictions. We've got 2 title fights on the card, but I think I'm mainly looking forward to Askren versus Masvidal. Good fight, I think that one will be. And we'll start with that fight with Funky Ben Askren. Very good wrestler, former Olympian, with quite a lack of striking. He pretty much just marches forward and tries to gain contact to you to take you down in any way possible. So if his takedowns get defended, he has some big problems on the feet. But that wrestling is very high level. He can submit you as well. Of course, he kind of submitted Robbie Lawler. I think that Lawler fight did expose him in some ways. I did think Lawler would win, but Askren got a decent comeback in that controversial fight. And we're really still seeing how he stacks up against top world-class opposition in the UFC, such as Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, a Muay Thai-based striker. Very good, solid, fundamental striker. He has some decent knockout power as well, as we saw he knocked out Darren Till with that blitzing combination. But although he has beaten some top guys like Cowboy Cerrone and Till, he has lost to some top guys as well, like Damian Maia and Wonderboy Thompson. So I think this fight with Askren could be a career-defining win or loss to see whether he really stacks up against the best at welterweight. Now, although I'm sure there'll be respect after the fight, these two seem to genuinely not like each other. It seems to be one of the only real beefs in the UFC at the moment. Masvidal comes from street fighting, in fact, and doesn't like the trash-talking culture that Ben Askren embodies. I don't think the psychology will affect the fight that much, though. It's all going to be about Masvidal's takedown defense, because if he can stop Askren's takedowns, he'll knock him out on the feet for sure. But if Askren can get that contact, get him to the ground, I think Masvidal's going to struggle to get out from under him, and Askren can dominate him for 3 rounds on the mat. And although it was a couple of years ago, Masvidal was getting taken down by Damian Maia, who isn't the strongest takedown artist. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Askren. I'm going to go 60%. I think Masvidal could pull the upset. I don't think he'll get submitted. He could get ground and pounded, but I'm not sure. So I'll go for a decision for Askren, just kind of wearing him down, controlling him on the floor for the 3 rounds. Will has also gone for Askren, but he's actually gone for a first round submission, so we'll see if either of us is right on that one. Next up, we've got challenging for the bantamweight belt, Holly Holm, known to most people as the woman who head-kicked Ronda Rousey. Holm has good boxing pedigree, she has decent footwork, with a lot of kicks as well, head kicks, oblique kicks, question mark kicks even, and actually in her last fight, controlled someone on the ground quite well as well. So quite a well-rounded mixed martial artist, but she has only got 2 wins from her last 6 fights. So I think she's getting the title shot on a popularity basis really, although there isn't many contenders in this division. For the champion, Amanda the Lioness Nunes is a force of nature in women's MMA. She's beaten pretty much every big name except Holly Holm. She's beaten Miesha Tate, Ronda Rousey, Chris Cyborg. I think finished them all in the first round. Valentina Shevchenko twice in 2 close fights, it has to be said. But she has great power in her hands, great distance management, high level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu ground game as well. And really, Shevchenko has been the only one who's looked on Nunes' level for the past few years. So although Holly is a great striker in her own right, I think Nunes is just going to be too much on the feet, especially with that power in her hands as well. So I think Holly could keep her away with that footwork early on, but I think eventually she's going to get knocked out. Will's gone for a slightly earlier round 2 knockout, which could very easily happen, so we'll see. So the main event is for the light heavyweight belt, and Thiago Moreta Santos was a mediocre middleweight who smashed his way through the light heavyweight ranks. It seems like because it's just a not very good division, he does deserve the title shot, but really there's not many people in this division that are anywhere close to John Jones's level. Santos does have good power in his hands. He does have some decent capoeira kicks, some flashy kicks, and good leg kicks as well, which could pose some problems for Jones, but John Bones Jones is one of the greatest, if not the very greatest of all time. He's pretty much cleaned out that light heavyweight division. I'd love to see him go to heavyweight to find some new challenges, because he's so well rounded from his wrestling, his takedown defense, his submissions are great, he's amazing in the clinch, and on the feet he's a master at using those long arms and long legs to just keep you away from him with those oblique kicks to the knee, with his elbows. And it's almost bizarre how good he is at just shutting someone down and just have them not really throw anything, like he did to Smith and Gustafsson in his last two fights. So I do think Santos has some things to trouble Jones. Leg kicks could be a problem. He's also got nothing to lose at all, although that didn't help Anthony Smith. And Jones's defense to punches isn't amazing. He often just resorts to putting his arm out and walking straight backwards. So Santos does have a chance to land that big punch. But I think Jones is just better everywhere, and I think he'll probably finish him in the mid rounds. Maybe a submission. I'll go ground and pound in the mid rounds. And Will's had the same idea and gone for a round 3 knockout for John Jones. So currently Will is beating me with a 100% record from UFC 238. And I've also put the bookies on there, the odds makers, to see how we compare to who people generally think is the favourite for the fight. Thanks for watching, and let's hope it's an enjoyable card.